Hi, thanks for watching. Andy here. Let's see what's happening today, and it's a big day in astrology today. Saturday the 11th of August 2018. There's a solar eclipse, there's a new moon, and Mercury is retrograde as well. But there are other things going on as well, so let's just take a quick rundown of it. The moon's been in Leo since yesterday morning, 5:17 a.m. UK time. Tomorrow the moon enters Virgo, 4:58 a.m. UK time, so that's much later tonight Pacific. A little bit kind of further on than that on the eastern side of the States and Canada. So that's what's kind of basically happening in the day-to-day astrology, and it's certainly not without importance. That Leo thing is playing into people's experience of the new moon situation and the solar eclipse situation quite a lot, and a lot of people are blaming these things and blaming Mercury retrograde for the way things are going at the moment. Now, when Mercury is retrograde, it certainly does get involved, and it certainly is likely to be responsible for some of what's going on. But what's actually happening today is all happening in conjunction with the solar eclipse, which is a partial solar eclipse this time, and the new moon coming in as well. Now, the new moon and the solar eclipse, what they basically represent is the strongest influence in astrology, the strongest aspect, the most important aspect, if you will, the sun conjunct moon. This basically means that everything is on the table, you know, and if you're in any kind of negotiation, I urge you to put your cards on the table today. Not everyone will play fair around that. That's the nature of life. But if you're ever going to get anywhere, I would put your cards on the table, start making things happen. I've put my cards on the background behind me. They're not cards, but if you're watching me on Facebook, it's Astro Truth on YouTube, if you'd like to follow me somewhere else, if you're that crazy. And if you're watching me on YouTube, it is Andy Lynch on Facebook. I'm there all the time putting up kind of various inspirational things, not just astrology, but this video is just about astrology. So let us get back to that. So this is the ideal time to make a fresh start, really. It certainly does play into plans that we've already got and where we're going in life. We might have had a lot going on in our minds around that in recent times. It might seem less like that today, but when there's a new moon, when there's sun conjunct moon, subconscious behaviours tend to predominate. So we can find ourselves making progress quite often, because the things that we kind of daren't say can just come out quite easily at a time like this. So it's no bad thing, but you know, on the other hand, you might be on the other end of that and someone might suddenly come out and shock you with something. So you simply never know, but this is an incredibly powerful time. As I say, the Mercury retrograde is playing into it, and that is probably the strongest effect of any other planet that's going on there. But this solar eclipse, and it's a partial solar eclipse, yeah. The moon darkens the sun, which is what makes it an eclipse, but it's not covering the whole thing up, as in a full one. This partial eclipse relates to, let me see, the fixed star Acubens, which I don't know a lot about. Also Mercury retrograde, which I talk a lot about, but I don't think anybody really knows a lot about Mercury retrograde, just the way it is. There's also the fixed star Dubhe, Dubhe. I'm out of my depth on these fixed stars because I tend to watch the ones that move. The asteroid belt also is involved. That's kind of, you know, around the area of Pluto, Vesta, Hygeia, and what's the other one? Juno. Yeah, basically the daughters of Pallas and Pallas Athena. All that kind of thing, which has a lot to do with domestic goings on and the success or otherwise of relationships. But there's nothing positive or negative really indicated there, just that things will be on the change, things will be moving. So, you know, Pallas, when that's involved, wisdom, courage, only really fighting for what is good, you know, because we can waste an awful lot of time fighting for something that turns out to be no good at all. So that is strongly involved. And Mercury is conjunct this solar eclipse, and that is going to reinforce the creative kind of intelligence which is generally going on around us, certainly to do with the asteroid Pallas, which is, you know, the asteroid belt, it's a long way away, but in a subtle way, it plays into astrology all the time. No getting away from that. Now, Mercury retrograde can make us feel nervous and anxious, particularly if we know what Mercury retrograde is, but it shouldn't, you know, we shouldn't worry about it, because life See, some people don't follow astrology at all, and they're fine. You know, you don't have to. It's only one way of looking at things. But you get that information, and this is where it kind of happens for us. If you're not into astrology, you may not ever see it as having anything to do with Mercury retrograde, and that may be fine. But the fact is, life has its ups and downs anyway, and when we look into astrology, when we follow astrology, we see where the ups and downs come. And people associate a lot of downs with Mercury retrograde, but that is the wrong attitude, because there's a lot of ups with it as well. It simply throws a spanner in the works, and that is not a good thing if everything is working fine. But tell me, is everything working absolutely fine? I don't think anyone could really say that. I mean, even Her Majesty, the Queen of England at the moment, or the Queen of what we laughingly call the UK now, you know, so much money, she never needs to worry about anything. But I bet stuff ticks over in her head. You know, I'm just giving an example there. I'm no big royalist, but whoever we are, wherever we are, however much success we've got, life has its ups and downs, and Mercury retrograde plays into that. The solar eclipse and the new moon are more about fresh starts after a lull in activity, more than anything else. That's the main thing. Look at that as a positive, fresh start, and be prepared to go out there and get things done a little bit today, if you will. Now, I was talking about relationships, so let's have a quick look at Venus and Mars. Venus is sextile Mercury at the moment, and of course, Mercury is retrograde, so in a lot of ways, it could go either way. But artistic, creative expression, that kind of thing is supported. Excuse me. It's a good time for mergers, agreements, business deals, that kind of thing. Relaxing controls. And because of that, positive experiences in relationships. We can be a fair bit too controlling in our relationships. I know that. I'm usually the one that people try to control, so I walk away from it. And I'm always glad I do. But that's where Venus is today, or at least at the moment. Mars is void in Aquarius, though, so that's kind of less straightforward, slightly less positive. It can have positive results in the long run because it shakes the tree, but that tree is shaking. There may be panic, but on the other hand, there may be steady progress. You just never know. But people will take risks, basically, and other people don't always like them taking risks. So that could be a thing in a relationship. Be aware of that. I wouldn't say go around looking out for it and have eyes in the back of your head, but just, you know, if day-to-day life takes you down that road, have a think about it, because that's where it's going. That's what we need to think about. Gosh, well, this has gone on a fairly long time today. Let's just have a quick look at Mercury retrograde, because that too is on the move. We are in Mercury retrograde phase at the moment. 1 week from today, on Saturday the 18th, into Sunday the 19th in UK time, actually. But that is when Mercury is going to station direct. Then it's all over bar the shouting. And Mercury eventually leaves the post-shadow on September the 1st. So we do have that post-shadow phase of Mercury retrograde to come. But many of the lessons have already happened. The next bit in the aftermath has more to do with finding out why it was all so confusing and what the blinking heck is going on. So that's coming up. It's all really rather positive when you think about it. But, you know, we can think too much about these things. Look at what might seem negative in today's charts as just a kind of a building block, something to build on, something to move you forward, something to overcome, because it's the things that we've overcome in life that really give us confidence, things we thought we couldn't do, but we can. Get out there, get doing them, get them done. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, friends. Give me a thumbs up if you can take it. Look, I've washed my thumb. How cool is that? I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And don't forget to check me out on the other one of these that you're not watching at the moment, please. Okay, have a great day, friends. Goodbye.